So this is the mobility video for your upper back, thoracic spine and shoulders. For this you're going to need a couple of things. You're going to need your foam roller, your band, and if you've got it, optional extra is pull-up bar or somewhere to hang from safely. So the first bits we're going to look at is we're going to use the roller just to give you quite a crude upper back massage to try and open up that thoracic spine. So I'm going to start with it quite high on my upper back, across my shoulder blades, and then I'm just going to cross the arms, like rounding my shoulders a bit. Now here, I'll lift the hips, and I'm just going to rock gently back and forwards around the top of my spine. Just like on the other mobility workouts, after we rock, we're going to roll. So rounding the shoulders lets us roll. I'm going to roll a little side to side, and you're going to feel there that you get some nice relief, and you might even get a nice little pop or crack from your back, which is always satisfying, okay? Once you've done that, I'm then going to lift my hips. I'm going to move like a couple of inches, few centimeters up. And what that does is that moves the roller further down my back, and we're now going to work on a different area and repeat the process. Round the shoulders, lift the hips, we're going to rock, we're going to roll, and then down and repeat, working our way down. Now on this, as we roll out, the upper back, it can be a bit uncomfortable. You can feel a little bit of pressure maybe. There should be no sharp pain, okay? There should be no sharp pain at all. And if you feel that, then you need to stop, okay? Now, we're only going to go down to sort of mid to upper lower back, okay? We're not going to go all the way down here to the pelvis, okay? So, having worked away down the thoracic spine, we're just going to go back to the top, and then we're going to lay back over the roller. So I'm going to set myself there like before, but instead of crossing the arms, I'm going to just take the arms back overhead and gently up. So hopefully you can see that my hips stayed on the floor. I let my head go back, and there I was just about able to touch my hands on the floor by like arching my back over it. Now, some of you are going to feel like maybe a bit uncomfortable on your neck doing that. So if it feels too intense to start with, then you can support the weight of your head with your hands, kind of like you're lying on the beach. And that's just the same movement there, except it's a little less intense. I'm now going to lift the hips, move the vertebra lower, down the back, and then repeat. Hips on the floor. And gently up. Like before, it's going to be potentially a bit uncomfortable. As you roll back over there, you might get some amazing noises if you've never done this before, like some of the cracks are going to blow you away probably, but there should be no sharp pain or anything, okay? Now, over time, you're going to get more comfortable doing this, okay? Initially, it might be like really quite uncomfortable, but over time, you keep working away at it, you're not forcing it, you're just gently persuading it into that more open position. Having rolled out the upper back, we're then going to do 2 more moves down here on the floor. For the first one, we're going to use our mobility ball, and we're going to use it for a bit of release in the pec and the chest. Now, what happens is all that time, like hunched forward on your laptop and everything, it can make the pecs really tight and rounded, and they can be pretty hard to stretch out because they're big, strong muscles. So what we can do is use a ball to get in there, just where it comes into the shoulder, and get a little bit of relief in there. So I'm going to lie on the floor, and it's going to get the ball in the shoulder like that. Now I've got a bit of weight on it, And then I'll take the hand behind the back, and then I just increase or decrease the intensity by just rolling off and on it. And right there, I've found a really good spot. So now I'm just going to relax and breathe and just gently rock and roll over that spot. And we're just trying to get a little bit of relief from the tension in the pec there, just to help you open up that position. The next move we're going to do is like a bit of a yoga classic. We're going to do a cobra, which is all about that thoracic extension. So the opposite of a rounded upper back is an extended upper back. So I'm going to come down onto my front again with my hands under the armpits. And now throughout this, we just want to gently squeeze your bum and keep the hips on the floor. And just push up and gently down. And gently down. Now, some of you, I'm actually quite flexible in the lower back, more so than the upper back. So, you're going to feel it throughout the whole spine, but really think about bringing the chest through and the shoulders back as you do that to try and extend that upper back position. So having done the work on the floor, we're now going to do some work on the shoulders and upper back in a standing position. And at this point we've got an option. So we can do an exercise called a shoulder dislocate, which sounds pretty intense, but your shoulder isn't going to dislocate, don't worry. So you can use a band for it, but this is where your broom handle comes in, and this is a preferred option if you've got access to it. So I'm going to show you how to do it with both. We're going to start really nice and wide with a relaxed grip on the stick and a tight belly. Keeping the arms straight, I'm going to bring the stick over and down to my lower back, and then all the way back over. If that's easy, like it was, I'm just going to go a tiny bit narrower, because a small change in width makes a big difference in how difficult it is. Now, as we work our way in, you're going to get to a point there where I can feel a bit of a stretch across my chest and just a little more resistance. I'm going to go a little narrower. And can you see there, especially on the way back over, there's almost a sticking point where it's just really working through the maximum ranges of my mobility and what it is today. Now, there will be sticking points, and you may get like a little crunch or grind, but it shouldn't be painful, okay? And the key is to keep a relaxed grip, to keep the bar level and your tummy tight. And that way, we can work through, and you can quite often make like a few centimetres improvement just in one session, gradually working it through. And it's a really great way to open up the posture. As I said, we can do it with a band. You can do it with this band, or if you've got the lighter red band, that's probably the preferred option. And all that happens is as you come over, you have to like pull the band apart a bit. If you're not very flexible, then you're probably going to struggle using the purple band. So the next part and the final part is doing some shoulder stretching and mobility using the purple band. So we want to put it up at around chest height. And what we're going to do for all of these moves is you start by putting your hand up through the loop, and then you're going to gently hold it there. We don't want to crush it, because then I've got tension. Just going to gently hold it so it's nice and relaxed, and then I'm going to turn the palm upwards. And now for the first one, keeping the palm up, I'm going to turn away so I get this big stretch here across my chest. Now it's super important, like I said, to keep the palm turned up. And relax there. Once you've done that one, we're kind of going to go the opposite way, and I'll show you on this side now. Hand goes up through, relaxed grip, palm up. I'm then going to turn the opposite way, so I get like a big stretch around the upper back. Keep turning the palm up as hard as you can, and pull into it there. I'm going to now move the band a little higher to about shoulder height. Same grip, up and through, relaxed grip, palm up. And now all I'm going to do is put a bit more tension on the band for this one, and just drop the chest down. You're going to feel it all up the side there, maybe through the armpit and actual shoulder joint. And then you can gently move your head under the arm a little bit. And so what we're doing is using that tension on the band to really pull on the shoulder to help you get into those positions. So having done all of that shoulder and upper back work, an optional extra, if you've got access to a pull-up bar, is to do some hanging, okay? Now, it's really easy to sort of dismiss it as like overly simple, but just hanging from a bar is so good for your shoulders and your upper back posture. And if you've got access to a pull-up bar at home, at the gym, or even the office or whatever, then I really recommend that you get on it every day and spend some time just hanging about. So we've actually got two here, and we can use a high or a low bar in slightly different ways. So on the high bar, it's really simple. I'm going to hang, narrow grip, palms facing away, so that's an overhand grip. Now, as I hang there, it's really important to not just hang into like a big arch or anything like that. Just keep a little tension in your belly, and we're looking to get the arms in a nice straight line there, down past the biceps. Now, if you've got a lower bar, that can be quite useful, especially if maybe your grip strength isn't so good, or if you're a bit overweight and hanging is going to be really hard to do for any prolonged period. We can actually keep some weight on the floor by keeping the toes down. So in that position there, you could see that I kept some weight on the floor, so it's less fatiguing on the grip, and it's a really great place to start off if you maybe don't have the strength to hang on a bar for more than a few seconds. So that's the end of the mobility video for your thoracic spine and shoulders. Now, like it says in the actual program, this should always be a priority area. This is what's going to have the biggest effect on your riding and also just your long-term health, okay? And I can't emphasize this enough, how important this stuff is and how much, improving this can really improve your long-term quality of life. So you don't end up with a knackered neck, constantly rounded posture, and end up in pain and things like that. So do this stuff little and often, develop that mobility to improve your posture, and then make sure you work to keep it.